in services other than the Divine Liturgy. You ought to go to Vespers and Orthros. You ought to do that. That's normal Orthodox Christianity. Normal Orthodox Christianity prioritizes the faith above comfort and ease. And as you do that, and you'll get tons of opposition. This is not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. You're going to get tons of opposition. Press through it. Do it anyway. This is hard work, but the payoff is eternity. Does that help?
Yes.
So, I'm going to stop because I'm tired. And I'm sick of hearing myself talk. And I'm going to open it up for comments or questions or thoughts. Some of the nuts and bolts stuff, do you have any questions about how we're using any of the tools? Do you have any questions about how you do something? Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask a question about teenagers, that transitional age between kids and adults. You said that to educate adults is the best youth ministry. How do we handle the ones that are in that transitional period that are sort of rebelling?
Yeah, it's very hard. You remember when you were a teenager? Well, that's the way they are.
No, you don't understand. When I was a teenager, there was no choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. So then what does that tell you? That means that we have to get back to there's no choice. Oh, but I don't want to. It's funny that my 10-year-old sometimes will tell me, Daddy, I don't want to. I say, oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. Somehow or another I've communicated that this is a choice for you. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm some way I have given you the impression that you're free not to do this. I apologize to you. I have let you down. You're not free to do this. Now there's a fine line, guys. You can be so hard-nosed. Again, it's every person is free, unique, and unrepeatable. Each one of us are an irreplaceable expression of our common human nature, just like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are irreplaceable expressions of the divine nature. You understand? The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are free, unique, and unrepeatable. You are also free, unique, and unrepeatable. So that means that we can give some general ideas, but the reality is, on the ground, you got to be flexible. You got to be able to roll with the punches. And the reality is that if, guys, the greatest way to help kids and teenagers in their teenage years is for them to see mom and dad standing in front of their icon corner at home every night, making the sign of the cross and doing the Trisagion prayers. You want to change your teenagers? Kids, I'm sorry, but Daddy and Mom got to go pray. Y'all come if you want to. It'd be easy for me to say, oh, well, you've got to start this program or start that program. It's a crock. It's not going to help. It hasn't helped. How many basketball tournaments can you have in one day, for God's sake? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It isn't working. What happened to YAL? Does anybody remember? You remember the Young Adult League? Do you remember they used to have thousands of people at their meetings? You know how many folks do they do now? None. It doesn't exist hardly anymore. So, the programs aren't the key. The key is mom and dad standing in front of their icon of Lord Jesus, making the sign of the cross and doing prostrations. Yes, ma'am?
And what if both parents aren't on board?
Then one parent do it. Then you do it for your spouse. And show them, oh, by the way, honey, I've got to go pray. Well, that's ridiculous. Okay. Yes, ma'am?
What's the best time of day, of week, and delivery in order to educate the parents that are chasing their children around?
Yeah, that's
your experience.
It's very hard because we have a congregation full of young families. And so I know exactly, and what you have to do is you have to say two things. Number one, this is a season of life where your attention is not going to be available to do a lot of this stuff. I'm focused on chasing my kids. And that's part of your spiritual journey. And what you do is you change your mindset about chasing your kids around by saying, this is my act of worship now in this season of life. Does that make sense? Now, so that it becomes baptized. So chasing my kids isn't something other than serving Jesus. It's actually part of me serving Jesus. Loving my kids and training my kids, and they're ankle biters, and they're aggravating, they're asking, Mommy, can I have this? Mommy, can I have that? You're aggravating the kid, I'm putting you in the closet. that time of life is extremely stressful for moms and dads. There's a lot of energy that's being expended by mom and dad, especially mom, at that season of the young children's lives. That may be all they can do. I told Presbyterian when we went to our first assignment in coming, first and foremost, you are helping me raise these kids, and you're helping me. So that means you're free not to be involved in a lot of church stuff if you don't want to. Because the way you're serving Jesus is taking care of these kids. That's part of my service to Jesus. And then secondly, it's for mom and dad to actually find a place as they can to spend time feeding their own soul. It's one of the reasons why I did the book. It's one of the reasons why I do the divine. By the way, if you guys want to hear a daily devotional, I do a daily devotional Monday through Friday. All you have to do is go to faithandcourage.org, and you can sign up. It will be emailed to you every morning, and you can read it or even listen to it as you can. Faithandcourage.org. And if you want to learn more about that, you can look at the book or get a card from me. But for moms of young kids, you've got to be flexible enough to find those 5 or 10 moments where you can either read something spiritual or take a moment to pray. Make your cross in front of your eye. And then give yourself permission to be busy. Go ahead.
I didn't know if you had tried this, but I know that a parish in Kansas City does this, and I want to recommend this.
Please.
Because I think it would be really great.
Yeah.
Is our children go to Sunday school after communion.
Right.
And so there's a half hour. If church ended at 11, from 11 to 11:30, especially for those of us that have married outside the Orthodox Church, to
Yes.
welcome our spouses to have parent education offered during that time during
That's
coffee
great.
hour when everybody is there. It's a moment they can either choose to socialize or they can choose to also together be
Great idea.
educated. And I think that there is a great window there, as long as our proistominos everybody can kind of have an ending time, and our church cycle doesn't always guarantee that.
Exactly.
And I understand that, and I honor that.
Amen. And that's a great idea.
I don't know how that happens, but I know Kansas City does that, and I think it really has built Orthodox and non-Orthodox families and educated those parents.
That's a great idea. In fact, I know other parishes that they use about a half hour between Orthros and Divine Liturgy to do an adult class. They stop Orthros early and do an adult education class before the Divine Liturgy starts. I've seen that as well. And that's another option as well. The key is do something. Do something to educate the folks purposefully. And try. Be creative, for heaven's sake. That's one of the things about Orthodoxy. Orthodoxy has always been very flexible and creative, for heaven's sake. Do that. That's normal Orthodoxy. That's healthy Orthodoxy. Yes, ma'am.
We have our Sunday school hour for the Lord's Church, and during that time, we met. So the kids go in, meet with the priest ahead of time, go into Sunday school. During that, and we'll have a Bible study going on for the adults. While the parents are in, the kids are in Sunday school, the parents are in Sunday school, they know it. Then we all go to church, and then as a parish, everybody has a coffee hour afterwards. So the kids can socialize with the kids, the parents can socialize with the kids. So that they're developing
It's great.
a community.
But you see what's happening here? That is a local Orthodox community that's talking to each other and saying, hey, what would work here? That's purposeful. That's dynamic. You're asking, and you say, oh, we've never, by the way, you know the 7 last words of a dying church, right? We've never done it that way before. That's the 7 last words of a dying church. Yes, sir.
I wonder if you would, in regards to a growing church, speak to the issue of media and how a church uses that, and to what extent can you become Orthodox online?
Well, you can't. You can be introduced to Orthodoxy Online. I got a note from, by the way, this is what I do at Faith and Courage Ministries for media. Number 1, every week we record a homily, both audio and video, with a professional camera, professional television camera, and I post that sermon online every week, and it's also on Ancient Faith Radio. If you want to go to ancientfaith.com, you can see that. That's one thing we do. We assume media is a tool to use to share the faith. Pastors work very hard on their homilies. My homily usually takes anywhere between 8 and 12 hours a week to produce. I work hard at it. It is silly for me to stand up there and give that homily one time and it just disappear into the ether, as if what I was saying wasn't valuable. I believe that what I'm sharing with the congregation is valuable. So guess what I do? I record it. Number one, I record it for myself so that I can get better in public speaking. And number two, I record it to share with others, and folks share this stuff around. So I got an email a couple of months ago from a family in Australia. Dear Father Barnabas, our church service and all the churches in our area don't do the services in English. So several of our families have started to get together after Sunday service and listen to your homily from the week before, and we watch it on the TV. Thank you so much for your ministry. By the way, my Pentecostal mother is becoming Orthodox next week. Isn't that cool? Not only that, but Monday through Friday, I record a 5-minute daily devotional called Faith and Courage Daily that is made available to everybody through Ancient Faith Radio. Or you go to faithandcourage.org and you can sign up and it'll be emailed to you. We send it out to 1,000 people a day. And so I usually talk to more people in one day than most priests talk to people in a month or more. And number three, we do a live radio show called Faith and Courage Live on the 2nd and 4th Sundays of every month. In fact, tomorrow night, we'll be doing a show called Where Did All These Denominations Come From? My special guest is Father Andrew Stephen Namick, who wrote Orthodoxy and Heterodoxy. He's got the new revised and expanded version that's coming out. He's going to be my special guest tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern. I guess it'll be 7 o'clock Central here on ancientfaith.com. And we do that on the 2nd and 4th Sundays of every month. It's a 90-minute show. Live call-in. People call in and ask questions. It's a lot of fun. That's a lot of media. That's more media than most Orthodox priests do in their life. But the problem is, all Orthodox priests are doing media. If they're giving a homily every week, they're doing media. So they need to record that media, and they need to get better at doing the media well. And if you're sending a newsletter out every week, you're doing media. So do it well. If you're using email, we use text messages. We have a text message system in our parish where most of our folks can sign up. We have an app. We have a parish app that people can download from the Apple Store or the Google Store and keep up with the stuff that's going on in our parish. We have a St. Raphael, Nicholas, and Irene Greek Orthodox Church app. They can download on their smartphone. I think it's on this thing right here. Where is it? I'm not going to worry about it now. But the point is, we assume media is a tool. But you understand what tools do, don't you? You know what a hammer is, right? You ever seen a hammer?